In this lesson, we'll be learning about prepositions. Well, I just remember when I was learning Hebrew as a student, professors would use these grammatical terms, and I just had no clue what it meant. So here I'd like to start with an introduction as to what prepositions are. Prepositions are connecting words that indicate a relationship between one word and another. And English has many words that serve as prepositions. One example is the preposition on. But even with this word on, you know that it's used in various ways. It can be location, indicating a location. For example, on a chair. Or on can express time. For example, on time. We know that both words are on, but they mean and function in two different ways. Other prepositions are, for example, to, I walked to the chair. Or for example, the word after, I left after breakfast. The Hebrew preposition we'll be learning is the preposition al. Although al usually means something along the line of upon, on, above, or about, what I want to indicate is that prepositions are very widely used in the Old Testament, and because of that, they can be translated in various ways. So it's very important that you not only memorize one way to translate prepositions, but you have to memorize various definitions for each preposition. And one of the fun things about translating Hebrew is that you, as a reader and exegete, can decide what way or how to translate a preposition in a certain way is the best reading of the text. So first and foremost, like I said, the most common way that al function or can be translated is to express location, usually a vertical location that can be translated on or above another object. Here is an example from the biblical text. Va ruach Elohim merachefet al penei hamayim. And the Spirit of God was hovering al, on or above the face of the water in Genesis 1 verse 2. In addition to expressing vertical location, al can also express or indicate horizontal location. In these instances, it's best to translate al as at. Here's an example from Numbers 20 verse 23. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe al gevul Eretz Edom. Yahweh said to Moses, here it's not on the region or border of the land of Edom, but it's at. They are at or by the border of the land of Edom. Al is translated to indicate not on something but at a location. Al can also mean not literally being on something, but figuratively someone being above other people. So in these instances, maybe it's best to translate al as over. Here's an example from 2 Samuel chapter 8, verse 16. Ve'yoav al hatzava. And Joab was over. This al is translated as over, as in he had responsibility or rank over or governing over the army. A tricky way to translate al is the causal way. In this one, it's usually translated as because. In Genesis 20, verse 3, we read, Hinecha met al ha'isha. Behold, you will certainly die al, not on, but here because, it's giving a cause, al ha'isha, because of the woman. The fifth way al can be translated is in expressing manner. In these ways, it might be best to translate al as according to. Here's an example from Psalms 110. Ata kohen leolam al divrati malki tzedek. You are a priest forever, not on or above, but here, according to the order of Melchizedek. Another way to translate al is against, this adversative sense, as in we have in 2 Chronicles chapter 22. Vayelek la milchama al Chazael. and he went to wage war al, not over, but against Hazael. When reading the Hebrew Bible, you find out that independent prepositions can appear independently, that is not directly attached to a word, as we have in this example. Shisha shemot al ha-even. 6 names are on the stone. As you can see in this example, there's a space in front and after al. So the preposition is appearing independently, not directly being attached to a word preceding or following it. However, independent prepositions can also be directly attached to a word that it modifies or is associated with by attaching what we call a makef. A makef is a horizontal line on the top that is directly connecting 2 or more words together. So let me try putting a makef to the passage that we're working with. Here, you can see that instead of having the al separated by a space, you can add a makef to say it's upon specifically the even, which is the stone. I remember when I was learning Hebrew, I thought, well, why is it so important to memorize all these different ways that one word can mean? Well, I would like to illustrate the importance of knowing the different nuances of a preposition and how it contributes to interpretation. For example, in 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 3, we read as follows. Vayikra Achav el Ovadyahu asher al ha-bayit. Here, we can translate it in various ways. In Ahab called to Obadiah, who is al, here is the on the house, talking about his location. Maybe when Ahab was calling out to this person called Obadiah, Obadiah happened to be literally upon the house. This could make sense because if you know archaeology, you know that ancient Israelites' house had multi-storied, and often the top of the house was a place that people would maybe spend the night. However, most likely, the more accurate way to translate this preposition al is in expressing this idea of rank, more metaphorical nuance. Instead of strictly literally speaking, he was above some structure. So most English translation would say that Ahab called to Obadiah, who is over the house, or had power or authority over a household. So here you can see from this passage that knowing Hebrew and how al can mean various things help you decide between various interpretation Bible translation and say which one might be more accurate, which is the nuance that the biblical author intended in this passage.